Hey, Tommy there, or Tommy there, Tommy here, Tommy wherever you want him. As long as you got an internet connection and access to this video. Um, excuse me. I like to play a little bit sometimes. Kind of smoothing over my air. Okay, so today's video, I think it's a good time to go over. It's still early in the year, and I think with the volatility, I do want to encourage those of you out there that may not clearly understand what's going on maybe behind the scenes. It depends on how deep you dig in. I know some people, they see the price of silver spike and not know anything about it, go out and buy some and then see it drop. If you're in that camp, it could seem very scary, confusing. I'm sure there's probably already people who saw the spike, went out and bought, saw the, call it even pullback, crash, whatever you want to call it, the decline in spot price, and already sell. So if you're that kind of person, I'm sorry, probably any type of investing, you're probably losing money every time you take your position. But it really shouldn't be that way. I'll give you an example. I believe it was the very first time I purchased silver. I didn't know where to buy it. I didn't know anybody that bought silver. The most I knew of anybody having silver was usually people that had kept their silver coins from the past that would still be mixed in your change. I knew some people that had vending businesses or businesses that had vending, like a laundromat where there was coins mixed in, say from, they had set them aside from the 70s, 80s, when you'd still find it occasionally in your change. So I didn't really know where to buy, and I didn't find any place local, and not knowing better what to do, I'm not sure. It might have been the Home Shopping Channel, QVC, something like that. But yeah, I bought, paid too high at the time. It was about $100 for, I don't even remember. I'd have to go. I still have it. It's tucked away. I don't. It's not something I pull out and look at. But I actually don't even remember the amount of. I think it has $50. But I think that the thing that was striking to me, it just came to mind the other day, was seeing the price of $5 face value dimes in the range of plus or minus $300. And I'm thinking, man, all those years ago, I paid $100, and I got two of the $5 face value, and I don't say maybe it was 20 coins of $50, so $10 face value, $50. And I paid $100, or right around $100. And then later finding out, oh, of course, it was Home Shopping. It's not the best place to be buying coins at spot price. So they made money off me. They buy low, sell high. But there's the thing, is that even if you don't get the best deal today, if you buy when it's high, if you understand the fundamentals of the market and what's going on with the currency, then if you just kind of buy and hold, I think it's funny. I think in some ways, Bitcoiners are better at this when they'll write it up, they'll write it down, and so far it's in the end they've been right. I don't know how long they will be, or if they will continue to be. But yeah, if you buy silver, gold, even if you kind of pay a premium when you acquire, it's really, why are you buying it? If it's to speculate for the next 6 months to a year, you could do well, you may do poorly. But if you're buying it really as like savings account or retirement account, you've got a good, I don't want to say minimum 10 years, but you got a long enough timeline. I don't know, at least some years. You don't have an immediate need for that money. You have you have an emergency account. You have money set aside that if something pops up, you've got a few $1,000 to deal with whatever before you'd have to sell your silver or gold. It should really be thought of that way. Like, of course, if some catastrophic event happens in your life, you may want to liquidate your precious metal holdings. But really, precious metals shouldn't be entered into lightly or speculatively, or I want to turn a quick buck, I want to get rich quick. Even though I do see an opportunity to do that. I mean, silver's outperformed, what was it, last year? Over 100%. I forget the exact number, 160 something. And then there's the thing too, when you do invest in precious metals, even if over a year ago, if you bought on a high that day, but a year later and it's gone up 160%, 160% plus, it tends to not matter so much, the ups and downs, and even the most recent decline in price. So if you compound that, that's why I really like to say, if it's short term, probably just keep your cash. If you're longer term, because there's acquiring costs, there could be premiums on buying physical. I mean, recently it was up to $5 to $10, 8, 6 more per ounce, and that adds up quick. So if you overpay when it's high, and then you wait till it then it crashes or goes down, what's maybe normal volatility or even manipulated volatility, then you're gonna lose out. If you have fear for what they call the FOMO, and you jump in when it's high and then you cash out when it's low and then it goes back up, you could liquidate your cash position by just buying and selling on emotion. It really shouldn't be that way. I would encourage people to consider that if that's been their history with other things, say like stocks or Bitcoin. If you're going to buy anything physical, which I do encourage, and really treat it as, savings account. You're going to have people are all over the place, and, how to store. Yeah, you can't do safety deposit box, but then if you're worried about bank access, there's that. There's private storage. There's big companies that'll pay you interest. So there's all different types of ways to handle that issue. I guess it's really that thing, like, how much are you buying? Is it really an issue or not? If you've got a handful of coins, no big deal. If you're going to be buying by the pallet, well, yeah, storage is a very by the pallet. Wow. I'm sure there's those people out there. but yeah, it's something to consider, and I think it's nice if you just, like a lot of things, start small, buy some, be comfortable holding it. See that, hey, you know what, for a little while, you know, don't worry about rushing in before. I mean, there is reason to maybe want to rush in before the price spikes again, because who knows if it'll pull back again. But also too, you got to be comfortable with, you know, setting that aside. So if you buy a bag full of dimes, you're not back in, you know, a month or two or a week, needing your money back and losing on your investment. It's really not an investment if you're playing like that, really. So yeah, I don't I don't encourage day trading. I don't encourage, like, I've heard of and seen stories of people, you know, going to Costco and they do an arbitrage and figure out how to buy a coin and spend a few $100 and then take it somewhere and sell it, and they're getting points and rewards. And it's like, wow, you're doing a lot to make, you know, $20 or $30 in a few hours. Like, go get a job, you know, or work some extra hours, or sell things online. I don't know. But hey, you know what? If it's fun for them and they make a little quick profit, maybe they weren't doing anything that day anyway. But it's, you know, on a large scale, or even not a large scale, just even a modest scale, you can be doing a lot of trouble to make very little, taking risk that you don't need to do. And with all that said, then now I'm probably going to sound like I'm saying the opposite, because I do think 2026, it started off really well, and you know, the thing with statistics and looking at history, usually even with this pullback, I really do believe that 2026 is going to be an impressive year for silver. I do not think, you know, the 2025 high is blow off top, or we're just going to go crashing down. I think everything that was in place for 2025 to be such a strong year for silver, if anything, it's only increasing. Demand is increasing. Demand for physical has increased greatly, even in the first month of the year. That was part of the reason for the push in price. It's, you know, if you have the physical need, if you're a producer of things that need silver, and yes, the price of silver is high, but then you can't sell your product without that dose of silver, then you buy because, you know, your margin can absorb that, or you're going to pass the expense on to customers. With that said, I do believe that silver will probably, I'm not even going to say probably. You know what? I need to speak with more confidence, because I tend to minimize my what's the word I'm looking for here? Help me out. My convictions. I tend to minimize my convictions with kind of not so assertive words. So I think in this, yes, I have a very strong conviction that silver will, even percentage wise, do at least as good as 2025 by the end of the year. Which would, yes, put silver up, or, well, it could even go well over. I think actually my idea of, and I think silver will at least do what it did in 2025. It's the demand is not decreasing, the supply is not increasing, and so those two things together create an environment where, okay, some people are going to stand on the sidelines. Some people, maybe investors, maybe, Main Street is going to step aside. But the structural demand, and not even just the structural demand, the sovereign demand, the United States has now, as if it wasn't before, the United States has now come out officially recognizing that, hey, silver is a critical mineral. Russia is stockpiling. They made that clear. They made that announcement. Hey, we're not just stacking gold, we're stacking silver. I think they were one of the first, if not the first country, to say that. I believe they were the first. If not, I mean, it's neither here nor there. It's country. Russia is a big country on the world stage, and I think they made it more of a. I think the news was early, and they were talking about it as more of a monetary metal. The U.S. seems to be approaching it more as they're calling it a critical mineral, for, I guess that would be for products and things. But the U.S.'s swing on silver has always kind of been, or at least since they demonetized silver, has been to treat it more as a commodity, as a mineral, as opposed to a monetary metal. So yeah, I mean there's also too as demand has gone up, and then the premiums go up, there's then kind of a self-propelling premium for physical metals. It's great and all if the spot price is $80, but you can't find it anywhere for less than 90. So if you're going to buy silver, you have a need for silver, and that's stopping you from producing your product, or making your investment. If there's a time pressure on your investment window, well, then what are you going to do? You pay 90. Spot is one thing, but I think the deviation from spot price on the actual physical acquisition then shows that there's increased demand, there's pressure on the market, and the spot price is lagging, for lack of a better term. I think especially when you see the spot price in the US and the inability to buy at spot, and then you see things like in foreign markets, like on the Shanghai exchange, that, hey, in China people are already paying 90, where you're looking to pay 80 here, or they're paying 95. Well, I don't know if it's ever gone that drastic. I think around 10, I think, has been what's been going on. But I was saying those numbers not as that's what it is, but just as an example. So yeah, this video is getting a little long, excuse me. I try to keep them a little shorter, but I guess I kind of opened up a big topic here. So yeah, and I guess I'll finish off with, if there's any doubt in your mind about this year, 2026, and silver, I already said that, yeah, I expect it to be at least as as a percentage-wise investment, or return. I would expect silver to nearly double this year. I do think that's very, very possible. And I am talking 2026, so I'd say if not sometime during the year, by the end of the year, I do believe we will see $200 silver. And to, if the things I went over already, just trying to highlight and not go too in depth explaining everything. The final point, or the final support for my thesis I would like to bring up, would be what's happening right now with the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve does not directly control or does not in any way control the metals market, silver, gold, things like that, but their policies can greatly influence. And I do believe with the change of Fed chair and the change of monetary policy from one chair to the next, I mean, we'll see how it goes. It's still early in 2026. Things that the Fed haven't changed that much yet, but I do believe the loosening of monetary policy, with injecting cash into the system, it tends to be good for stocks. It tends to be good for silver, gold. Just more supply. Investments tend to go up. So yeah, probably good stock market, and probably another record stock market this year. I'm not that into stocks because the volatility and things. I believe it's less secure than silver, but hey, if that's your thing, good for you. You probably have another good year. But yeah, so that's where I'm at. I really do think that silver is going to have another good year. I do believe it will do at least as well as 2025, if not better. And for a number which, for a lot of people that, if what I've shared already is, you already know more than me, okay, great. I'm not making, excuse me, but I'm not making this video for you, really. If I've made any slight errors in my understanding of things, just letting you know I'm just sharing my knowledge and ideas, and sometimes I don't always pick the best words, but it really is where I'm at a point where I feel a little bit like Chicken Little, or was that Chicken Little? I don't know, the world is ending, the sky is falling, something like that. But yeah, I guess I do have some knowledge. I have had some success, and I'd like to get that out there to other people. And if anything, hey, you're smarter than me, then good for you. You should be making more money than me too. So if that helps anyone out there, I know I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but also too, you got to take action. So please beat me, do better than me. I'm doing what I can, and I have a conviction to be sharing with others. I've had a few experiences, and what's kind of rekindled this desire to do more videos more often and make a stronger commitment to it is, I have a few, close friends, maybe business associates, even old high school buddies, and you start to share things, and you try to share ideas. People can't figure out what you're doing or how you make money, and you invest in things, or you have a business, and to them it doesn't seem what you do could be possible. And I guess that's part of it, is recognize, hey, there are investments out there. Not everything's stocks. When the stock market's, pushing valuations that are 12, 20, 25 times their value, hey, maybe the stock market is a little overbought and it's not such a good investment. Even though, hey, you may make 10, 15% this year, is the, 50%, 90%, 70% downside risk on a crash worth it? Again, I'll leave that up to you. You do your thing. I'm just putting out there what I want to say what I know. And maybe I'll end with that. Like, my conviction is strong. I do believe we will be seeing $200 silver this year. So I guess I'm gonna lock it in. And you do with that what you want. That's what I think. I could be wrong. And if I'm wrong, you know what? If it only goes up 50%, hey, it'll be another good year. So I'm comfortable with my decision. I would encourage you to be comfortable with yours. You know what? If you get nervous, you just got to have a pile of cash around. Good for you. But I think you're missing out. I think you're going to regret for a second year, third year, fourth year, however long you have a conviction that, you know what, maybe I should do something with precious metals. Maybe I should, whatever. Money managers are even getting, it's getting more common again to hear, where in the past it was, if you had gold or silver, you were crazy. If you invested in GLD, I think it is, or SLV, and there's a variety of those different paper markets that are supposedly based on gold or silver. I won't get into that right now, but even if you did that, where people would be like, well, why do you have 5% or 10%? That's crazy, of your stock market portfolio in precious metals, or even paper traded precious metals. But I think you're hearing that more and more now, at least I am, from a lot of professional money management places. They're encouraging it, you started to hear more like the old-fashioned 10% again, or even some saying, hey, 20%. Like they're saying something wild and crazy. I do believe the market is changing. I do believe opportunities are changing. I do believe there's a lot of risk in any type of investing right now. But I think one of your biggest risks is if you do have savings, whether it be big or small. I do believe you are risking losing your buying power over time, staying in currency, and I believe that is increasing at an increasing pace, to the point where, yes, your buying power is going to become a lot less. I do believe inflation is going to be very intense, and we're going to see a loss of buying power like we've never seen before. I think it'll be, you'll start hearing this. I remember when the candy bar was $1. Well, you know what I used to hear? I remember when the candy bar was a nickel. So now a candy bar for $1 is kind of cheap. So if that goes to $2 for a candy bar, imagine, houses go from an average in the U.S. of around 400,000 to an average of 800,000. A brand new truck goes from 50,000 to 100,000. So yeah, I do think things like that can happen, and just picking a place to put your money where maybe you can at least keep up with inflation is great. If you can beat it, even better. But that's my input on the subject. I appreciate you watching to the end here if you're still with me. And so yeah, one final thing, over $200 silver. So whether we'll end the year or not at 200, you know what? I can't. People could be taking profits if it goes up that much. Expect volatility, but I do think we will see 200 2026. So I'll leave it there before I go on and on. And yeah, that's it. $200 silver 2026. Final answer, like I said about a few minutes ago. So thank you very much. Tommy out. Bye-bye.